you ready for the truth? Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth?
I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Here comes the truth.
Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, AFR Talk. Well, as stated at the close of last hour, President Obama doesn't have a lot of credibility. A lot doesn't have much at all. And why is that? Well, he's made statements one year where he says, hey, the only people that can pass this law is Congress constitutionally in their Article 1 powers. This is their process. And then a year later, he's done it by executive order of not enforcing a particular law. I'm speaking to immigration and the Obama Dream Act, if you will. We also have the IRS, and still yet to get to the truth there on persecution of mainly vast majority conservative groups. And we also have Benghazi, the DOJ, Eric Holder's record, et cetera, et cetera. So what does this mean when you have a president who doesn't respect the rule of law? That's a reality, by the way, folks. That's not a shot at President Obama. That's a reality. And look at his record. Well, to answer that question, we speak with Hans von Spakovsky. He is the senior legal analyst at the Heritage Foundation. He is the author of Who's Counting, and he is a former Justice Department counsel to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights in the Civil Rights Department of the Justice Department. Hans, great to be with you.
Hey, Crane, good to see you.
Yeah, good Labor Day weekend?
Had a very nice one.
Wonderful. Let's begin voter ID. And another article that you wrote, whenever you write about something, even if you've written about it before, even if we've talked about it over the years, there's something that you're bringing up. And here you're going to the issue in Texas and the challenge to the law by the Department of Justice. What specifically are you highlighting with your article today, Hans?
Well, the fact that the claims that this is somehow discriminatory just under the Voting Rights Act just don't hold water. Look, the Supreme Court said requiring voter ID is perfectly constitutional. Yes, they have filed under the Voting Rights Act, so they're making a statutory claim against Texas. But even there, there's just no evidence to support it. You need ID for a huge host of everyday things, and no one says that is somehow discriminatory, but we keep getting these just really silly claims about that.
The silly claims, tell me, substantively, do they have a case within what they're going after, the statute specifically? Is there a substantive case? And if there's not, wouldn't it be thrown out right away?
No, because the problem is you get liberal judges. There were 3 judges that said that Texas's law was supposedly discriminatory under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. Of course, that part of the law got thrown out by the Supreme Court, which vacated their opinion. But even there, that court made very basic errors in their interpretation of the law, and Texas unfortunately had the brunt of that. And that very well may happen again. I suspect this case is going to end up before the U.S. Supreme Court.
And Hans, that is where people sit there and say, President Obama, the Department of Justice, they're going outside the law. We're supposed to have a check on that in the judiciary. And unfortunately, through the system and the way we've nominated and gone through and appointing judges, we've politicized the Constitution. I'm Captain Obvious, by the way, Hans, just so you know. But that's what's happened, isn't it?
Look, it's worth constantly reminding people of this, because ordinary Americans go on about their everyday lives. Sometimes I think forget how much that kind of lawlessness can affect what they do every day.
And it also affects how groups respond to policy. And specifically, I'm speaking to Richard Trumka, AFL-CIO president, criticizing the Affordable Care Act, a.k.a. Obamacare. Here he is saying, hey, things need to be tweaked a little. Roll it.
The Affordable Care Act does need some modifications to it, because as it does right now, what's happening is you have employers that the law says if your employees work 30 hours or more a week, you got to give them health care. So they're restructuring their workforce to give workers 29 and a half hours so they don't have to provide them health care.
Now, when he says tweaked or modified, is that what happens to law, Hans? When you tweak and modify and enforce certain parts of that, is that how our system works?
Well, it's not. It's not supposed to. You know, the president is under the Constitution. He's got a duty to enforce the law, not just certain parts of the law, which, as you know, is what he's been doing with Obamacare. Somebody who went through and took a look at it discovered that of all the different deadlines in it, he's only met half of them.
And so with only meeting half of them, not enforcing the law, we have a response certainly to Obamacare from the union's perspective, which is 40,000, hey, we're gone. And they're losing power. But what I see, Hans, is this protection racket. And it only happens through big government, is the idea that government takes over a particular industry or provides guidance, if you will, through regulation and, well, a whole host of things. And then you need a group to protect you from that and get you the very best deal you can get. And they go to Washington and they go behind closed doors and they set things up. Is this what the founders understood and thought, hey, this is the way to go? And if not, was there ever a double backstop, if you will, if one of the branches got so perverted as I've seen in the sense of justice in the judiciary? Hans?
Well, I don't think the framers, I don't think they could imagine what we have going on today. Look, people complain all the time about lobbyists getting special deals, but they wouldn't be in Washington trying to get special deals if the government hadn't taken over so much of the economy. If the government weren't dictating the rules for the economy and businesses, people wouldn't be in Washington trying to lobby the government to get a special deal for themselves.
The argument that many on the left use is they're looking out for the little guy, the people that are not being served, and oftentimes economically they are the challenged in the sense of being lower level on the scale economically, so they're protecting them. Yet we have a case in Louisiana of school choice and the Justice Department going in and using the similar tactics they've used in other cases to harass those that desire to have vouchers and to use those vouchers. What specifically are they doing, Hans?
Well, it is really one of the strangest things the Justice Department has done. They have come in and filed a lawsuit basically saying that the school voucher program in Louisiana is a violation of 40-year-old desegregation orders in the public schools, which is a little bit nutty because, in fact, 90% of the students who are in this voucher program are, in fact, black students. They're poor. They come from poor families. They have to be in a failing school, and this voucher allows them to go to another high-quality public school or a private school, and yet the Justice Department comes in. They're trying to stop that because they said, well, these black students will leave certain schools and the color ratio will change, so we have to stop it. They need to stay in these failing schools. And
it is something that if the mainstream media did start really picking up on, it would be well, it really does show and illustrate how the left works in many respects and highlights their hypocrisy, or at least when they don't live up to their claims of ostensibly helping people in the most vulnerable in our society. Hans, we appreciate you. Final question, 10 seconds. Did the president weaken the presidency by going out Saturday and seeking congressional approval, even though he spoke to the fact that he could still launch the attack?
I think he's just trying to get some support to help him in what I think is going to end up being a very foolish action.
Historically, does that have consequences of the presidency itself?
Everything this president does has consequences.
Great answer, Hans. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Great to be with you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Zuhdi Jasser next. AFR Talk.